Hello everyone, it's wonderful to have you back on our YouTube channel. My name is Gospel.
And hi everybody, my name is Amara.
Today we'll be looking at money and marriage.
Yes.
Previously we talked about the power of money to make or break marital relationships.
Yes.
And we received so many questions, and today we want to look at some of those questions.
Yes. Like my husband said, we're just going to be educating ourselves about this whole money matter.
Money and marriage.
And marriage, exactly. We just want to say that dealing with finances is very individualistic. So every marriage kind of figure out what works best for them. So we'll be sharing with you some of the things that we kind of has worked with us in our relationship, we find very valuable, and also based on some of the people who we see out there, some of the best sort of practices, and we hope you would find value in all of this. So basically we'll take the first question because one of the questions that was sent to us by a couple, they are asking, are couples supposed to have a joint account or a separate account? If separate, how do we then become accountable with our finances?
I think this is a very critical and important question you just asked.
Indeed.
My answer to this is that couples can have joint accounts if they want to. It's not compulsory. The most important thing is to know the objective of having joint account.
Yes.
Why do you need a joint account? What is the purpose of this joint account?
So the why is very important.
Yes.
And it has to be established firmly. This is what will keep you in check. And it's very important that you establish what the objective is.
Yes.
Now, whether you choose to have a joint account or separate account, by the way, I must state at this point that it is okay to have separate accounts. Because, I mean, whether you're in business, whether you're working, you want to keep things, separate, you want to keep things, easy to kind of track what you're doing as a family. So it's okay to have separate accounts.
Like you're saying, almost everyone should have a personal account.
Exactly.
If you're earning salary,
yeah.
An account for
or
that.
if you're even in business, you also need a business account. So it's okay. But the most important thing I think we need to establish here is how would you manage this account? So if you have a joint account together, it has to be managed effectively, because I think a lot of individuals, and I think we touch on that, people who have issues with managing their finances, and again when we go on we can look at this and how you as a couple can navigate that. Now, what is most important is that you remain disciplined, you're accountable, you're transparent, you're trustworthy. Trust is very important, and you're honest with each other.
Exactly. So that's what makes joint account effective.
Yes.
Where we know that this is how much you have in the account.
Exactly.
And if I'm supposed to contribute YZ money,
yes,
I am faithful in doing that. And I trust that
the other person
will do the same.
Exactly.
And nobody's gonna, go behind and use the money for something different apart from what the money had been planned for.
Yes, I mean some couples will say that it is very important that both people or both persons in the relationship are both signatories to the account, and I can understand the rationale behind them insisting that both of them have to be signatory, and it's all down to trust, it's all down to honesty and transparency. And I think that this is very important because money sometimes can reveal a lot about an individual. It can reveal your ego, your arrogance, your insecurity, and even character flaws. And I think that this needs to be checked and managed effectively before the relationship. Now, one thing I want to say at this point is that having a joint account is not something that you might be insistent, depending on where the individual in the relationship is. Now, in the first few years of your marriage, it might be a bit tricky, because if the person you're married to probably doesn't kind of feel very safe having a joint account, I think it's a conversation. It could be an ongoing conversation, because you do not know her experiences. Our reaction to money is all down to her background,
family upbringing.
Absolutely. So you need to give people time to come around some of these whole conversation. Maybe 5 years down the line, maybe. It all depends. But I think honest conversations need to be had. Why is this important? How would this help us as a family? And I think once you establish that, this is primary, and it's paramount if you need to, move it forward in terms of having a joint account.
Yeah, in fact, for me, joint account is not the issue. You can have joint account, or you can have separate account.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have joint account and you are accountable with your personal account,
Yes.
how you spend your money, and you decide, okay, all the family expenses will go through one account,
Yeah.
maybe your wife's account or the man's account.
Yes.
It is fine as long as the things you listed before,
Yeah.
honesty and the rest of them are involved.
Okay, following on from the first question, somebody else did ask, and he's asking, what about if you have or you're planning a surprise party for your spouse and you only have one joint account? How can your desire be achieved?
Well, like we stated earlier, having joint account is wonderful, but then you can as well have personal account.
Yeah.
However, if you don't have personal account and you have only a joint account, my view is that there should be personal money.
Yeah.
You should budget money that
exactly
each of you should spend on your own.
Yes.
You can't expect that if I want to buy airtime, I would ask you or you would ask me for minor things that you need some money for.
So what you're trying to say is that there has to be a budgeting system in the family where some personal money would also be accounted for within the budget.
Yes.
And from that budget, you can actually begin to put aside some money for those sort of surprises.
So if you have personal fund or personal
Yes.
money, which should be part of the budget,
yes,
you should as well from that personal fund
set aside
whatever surprise you want to give to your spouse.
Yeah.
Save up and make that happen.
Yeah.
So don't use the excuse of joint account to tell your spouse, sorry, I would have done this or that if not for the fact that we have
a joint account. Ooh, okay. Now, there's another question here as well. So I just want to jump right to it because we said, it's all about educating ourselves. And please, if you have any questions, please do ask us. And please, the like button, the share button, and please do subscribe if you're new to our channel. And I just want to, this is more like a Q&A session, isn't it?
It is.
So the third one is where the both of them, so this person is asking, so where the both of them do not know how to manage money, how do you instill financial security? This is a very interesting question. Yes.
Well, I want to say that if both of them are not good at managing money, they can use the structure of a bank to improve their level of discipline and financial management.
Well, it's a very interesting point that you've raised, but I think it's a fundamental problem if both of them do not know how to manage money, because usually you find cases where it is just one person. So there's a bit of help, there's a bit of
A way to
navigate it, yes. But where the both of them, I think that this is an issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. And I think it first of all starts with educating themselves.
Yes.
So they have to have a sit-down conversation about how can we understand money matters in generally, maybe not in marriage, but generally, because I don't think that this will be healthy for their relationship going forward. And they might want to seek expert advice on how they can, support them and all that. And quite a lot of banks offer some of this support, and there are a lot of professionals as well that would help them, educating them on what they need to do with money. And whilst they are doing that, I think what would be helpful for a start is setting a budget. So they need to sit together and say, what's going to be the budget? How much are we going to be spending on bills? And because
but
there's
the issue now is that
Yes.
it's not like they don't know they're supposed to set a budget.
Yes.
The problem is they don't know how to manage their money. For instance, someone earns a certain amount of money, and he knows that the bills, different things need to be done with money.
Yes.
Before the time for execution, the money is gone.
Yes.
they are spending on things they don't plan to.
Yes, so I think that they need to seek help as soon as possible. Yes, they have to. And look, you just have to be honest with yourselves. Look, guys, say to yourselves, you need help. Because if you allow this to carry on, then it's gonna have a huge negative impact, not just on you both as an individual, but when you still start having children, that will also impact on your family. So it is very important that you seek expert advice at ASAP, as soon as possible.
A man is asking that he likes the idea of providing for the family as the head.
Yes.
But he doesn't really like the idea of everything being on him. So he's asking, how will he make it work, knowing that the mindset of the wife is that it is my money.
Yes.
Your money is our money.
Okay. And I think it's a very important question. But let me just back up a little bit and just address this for the benefit of some of our viewers that are maybe not married at this point. I think that the best thing that you would do to yourself in the course of you courting is to have an honest conversation about money before marriage. It is very important you both must agree on some of these issues before you get married, because when you get into marriage, sometimes the conversation becomes a bit more complicated. So you need to sort of have a sit-down conversation before marriage. And if you haven't had that conversation before marriage, in marriage, I think you have to begin to engage in that conversation openly. And it has to be ongoing. So it's not just a one-off conversation, because every marriage goes through seasons. So at the start of the marriage, your financial challenges might be totally different from maybe mid-marriage and maybe later on in, as you go on. So it should be ongoing.
That's an important answer you brought in there. I also want to add that the other important thing to look at is, what is the family vision? What is the family goal? And then you look at money as a tool through which you would achieve the family vision and goal.
Yeah.
So that money is not the central focus of the family.
Yeah.
But a vehicle through which you would achieve your goal. A means to an end.
That's true.
That way you don't fight over money, because you know the focus is to achieve your family vision.
Yeah, so it's just a tool.
Yes. So if a woman understands this, or if a couple understands this,
yes,
they will be able to focus on achieving family goal
rather
than fighting, is my money or is your money.
It's about how can we pull this resource together
and
to
work
achieve,
together.
actualize our goal.
Whether it's in joint account or personal account, as long as we're achieving our family goal.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
I think another thing to consider here is that you need to understand each other. See, look, you have to be honest. Marriage is about openness and vulnerability. Nobody is acting, nobody's playing up here. And you also need to understand, which spouse can manage. I mean, is it him? Is it?
And which one is more responsible?
Who is more responsible in terms of money?
And which one is the extravagant one?
Exactly.
Who hardly holds money?
Just speak the truth in love. Tell yourself,
Yes.
look, I cannot manage this. Money, me and money, we're not friends. So
you do that sometimes, where you say, I don't want this money to be my account because I have so many things to do with money
or going
within
out.
this time.
Exactly.
Let it be in this other account.
And I'm totally cool with it. So, I mean, have an honest conversation. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Who can manage money? You should be able to understand your spouse. You should be able to understand their strength. You should be able to understand their weaknesses. If he or she is not the person that can keep the money, let the other person do it.
Another thing to look at is that sometimes people have their views about money because the marriage is not solid. When you look at your relationship with your spouse and you're not confident that this thing is for life. You're not confident that this man or woman is committed to the relationship. There are cracks in the relationship.
Yes.
Obviously, you start saving your future.
Yeah.
Start planning to save
your exit plan.
Exit plan.
Yes.
For instance, if a woman has found out that the husband is cheating on her,
yes,
or the husband has made it obvious that this relationship is not going to last for a long time because I am waiting for the children to go to school, and we will divorce. You don't expect her to be transparent with her money. You don't expect her to make earnings and put in a joint account.
Yes.
Because they are not working together. So the best thing to do in this case is to solidify the relationship first.
Yeah.
Save your marriage before you think about transparency, joint account,
Yeah.
working together in terms of money.
Yeah, so saving your marriage is very important, and I think that the way or the dynamics of the relationship to a large extent will help eliminate some of the potential questions about finances. So if you have a solid relationship, there are certain things that you will not start doubting, or you would not be like, am I sure about this? I'm not sure about this. And you're kind of setting that you're in need for the long haul. So I think that it is very important for the individuals involved in the relationship to have this sort of solid, like you said, save your marriage first. Make sure you have a solid relationship, both of you as an individual. Then you can now think about what you do next with money.
On a final note, I just want to say that money is not as important as your marriage.
Yeah.
Money is not more important than your spouse,
Yeah.
than the future you have together, what you've built over the years.
Yes.
Don't let money destroy your marriage. Rather, use money as a tool to enhance your marriage.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, like we said, I mean, money matters is not something we can exhaustively touch on every single aspect, but please do keep your questions coming. We love reading from you. We love hearing your feedback. Please, and do post your comments in the comment section below. If there's something else that you think that we needed to touch on as well, please do comment, like it. And if you are returning to our channel, thanks for sticking with us and the content that we've been putting out. If you're new to our channel, please do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. It was great, engaging with you once again via this channel and educating ourselves. And we just want to say we would love to see you back on the next episode. Do have a fantastic day ahead. Goodbye.
Bye.